So the iPhone XS has been out for a few years now. It originally came out in 2018. So let's go and see how this bad boy still holds up in the middle part of 2022. Now, several things have changed since this iPhone has been officially released, I think most of you know, but even since my early 2020 review of this specific iPhone, we've gotten some key improvements, and I will tell you the iPhone XS is probably one of the more interesting iPhones Apple has ever made, and it's kind of matured into a device that we're kind of forced to like, in my opinion. Originally when it came out, I wasn't the biggest fan, and I will tell you now I kind of have no choice but to like this iPhone because of the latest iOS version that just came out about 2 weeks ago. Now, I will tell you in terms of the body, it still holds up very well. Not much has changed, as most of you know. Same 5.8-inch panel on the front OLED, so it looks very, very sharp and very, very good. I love this panel a lot, and I think these iPhones displays will hold up forever, basically. Glass on the back, dual camera setup, everything in that standpoint still holds up very, very well on this iPhone. So I don't really have too much to complain about it in that standpoint. Now, kind of focusing on the improvements and things that have changed since my early 2020 review, or early 2022 review, the price tag is one of those things that have kind of calmed down and kind of went down in the used market. I could see where this iPhone could end up going up in price because of the features that these iPhones are getting on iOS 16, but I also don't think it's a crazy big deal, and most people will probably already have a newer iPhone, so these prices should end up going down even more probably once the iPhone 14s come out. Now, with iOS 16, and this is the biggest change this iPhone has gotten in my opinion, iOS 16 probably is one of the most impactful versions of software in general, not necessarily in the greatest ways either, but Apple has never really made a software version that has somewhat been so distinct on each individual iPhone. So it's almost like each year that every iPhone has came out, the 2017 iPhones, the 2018 iPhones, which this one belongs in, the 2019, 2020, going, so on and so forth. Apple has made strategic moves to kind of limit the amount of features on each iPhone pair for per year. I've never really seen Apple do this at this scale. They've done it before. They even did it with the last version, but it wasn't to the scale that it is right now, which is pretty crazy to me. So on the iPhone XS, luckily for the iPhone XS owners, pretty much most of the features on iOS 16 have been ported over to the iPhone XS. This includes all those Siri improvements, all the live text improvements, adding medication in the health app, and so many other things that I've made 30 videos talking about. So I think it's actually pretty insane that Apple went ahead and limited these many iPhones in these many different ways in terms of software. I think that in and of itself is actually pretty insane, and I feel like Apple should have done a better job. But I will say on the basis of the iPhone XS, they've actually kind of supported a ton of features on these iPhones. So I think that's actually a pretty cool thing. So if you have something like an iPhone XS, you are in pretty much good hands. You're going to be in a really good situation, I would say, for the most part. So I think if you own an iPhone XS, you're going to be really happy with iOS 16. There's still a few features that aren't supported, but I think it's totally okay. So I will say for the iPhone XS owners, and if you're planning on picking up an iPhone XS, if you want to get a majority of the features that are going to be coming out on the next version of software, this is probably the lowest iPhone I would recommend. Even though the iPhone Xs are supported, the XS is probably the best one when it comes down to getting all the features. From my performance standpoint too, performance has been pretty good. I haven't done a full battery comparison on this iPhone yet, but I will be doing one soon, so I'll come back with you guys on that one. But I will say overall, the iPhone XS in the middle part of 2022 is in a very interesting spot. On one hand, it really wasn't a crazy big improvement, and from the iPhone X onwards, I feel like the iPhone X was a really big update, but then with the iPhone XS, it was kind of just improving on what the iPhone X did. But because of the software improvements that Apple's kind of pushed and kind of limited on the iPhone X, since the iPhone X has got a majority of those improvements with iOS 16, it really makes me just more comfortable recommending the iPhone XS more than the iPhone X, especially if you're somebody who already, maybe owns an iPhone 7 and needs to go and update. I would say the XS is a decent iPhone. Like I mentioned, I'll be doing a battery test here soon. That was kind of my biggest complaint with the iPhone XS, but I still think the XS is completely worth it, and because of iOS 16, it's probably made it worth it a little bit more in my opinion. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.